and it's a great joy to see how the church and the congregation are developing in the community here.
It's a good sense of community here. Everybody enjoys the friendships that they have with each other here.
I think we're very lucky with this church room we have here, because it's used by all sorts of bodies, isn't it? Mm-hmm.
Moffat is set amongst the beauty of the Scottish southern uplands. The Annandale Way is a public footpath that links Annan, on the Solway coast, to Lockerbie and Moffat. It terminates at the Devil's Beef Tub, which is within walking distance of Moffat, albeit a steep uphill climb. An easier option is to drive 9 miles from Moffat to the car park at the Grey Mare's Tail. From either location, you can understand how Jesus and Moses felt as they walked in the solitude of the mountain, absorbing the beauty of the landscape that Almighty God has sculptured. 15 miles to the south is the larger town of Lockerbie, situated on the West Coast Main Line. Residents work in the transport and haulage industries, the creamery, forestry, and agriculture.
And we're very lucky because we've got a particularly beautiful church. All Saints is a beautiful church. Arts and Crafts, American Arts and Crafts period church, 1906, 1905.
It's quite a small church physically, which therefore means it's quite good when, even if we don't get a huge congregation, it still looks quite busy. People help each other out well, and we just have good connections as well with each other. I'm a Eucharistic assistant here and a worship leader, and I also do the Taizé services.
And certainly our services like Taizé, which we do love and enjoy in the evening, brings a broader spectrum of people who have no particular religious affiliation. And that's a lovely service, and we light candles throughout the church, and we play music, Taizé music from tapes and so on, and that gets into the teens of people every time we do it, to the point where we're beginning to worry in case it gets bigger than the Sunday services. That would be a lovely problem, wouldn't it?
I run the PowerPoint, and so people can read off the TV, like hymns, and just know what's happening.
Hugh takes it in turns with Sasha. We have access to 4 video channels, including a remotely controlled camera and 6 microphones, although we don't use all these channels each time. The online congregation is between 10 and 30, but it can reach 50 or more on occasions. Hilary regularly watches the services online. She has mobility problems following illness and her husband Bill's deteriorating health. Attending the Drivestyle Church in Lockerbie became impossible because of access problems. They already had links with All Saints as her parents were members before they died. Access was easier, and they were very warmly welcomed when they first attended. Further deterioration of their health prohibits their attending now, and they miss the fellowship. They are so grateful to have the Sunday services relayed to her laptop. Church friends keep in touch by email, phone calls and visits, and the interim priest, John Stevenson, and his wife Jane visit regularly, bringing Holy Communion.
I'm Jane Stevenson, and my husband John and our 3 young children came to live in Moffat in 1976. I think our arrival had been intimated because the Reverend Philip Pont was on our doorstep to welcome us when the removal van was barely at the end of the road, returning to base. Over all these years, our children have grown up here. My husband John has been ordained. We have been abroad and back, but St. John's has always been our home. St. John's itself has gone through various changes over the years, and it's a great joy to see how the church and the congregation are developing in the community here.
But we've started using a new liturgy, which is for reserved sacrament, so that one of the retired priests will consecrate some bread and wine, and then there's a special Eucharistic service that we take when there isn't a priest with us on a Sunday.
Moffat has retained so much of its vitality. It's a vibrant little town. It's full of nice people who get on very well with each other, and yet it's also full of tourists. But I think they bring in money to the town and keep the shops going.
But it's friendly, and the people I've met here are very welcoming, and they're very helpful, and it doesn't matter where you are in the town, people seem to have time for each other.
Beautiful surroundings, lovely people, plenty to do.
And even if you try to cross the road, I'm amazed, the cars just stop.
We came because of my husband's job. He was head teacher at the school.
Moffat was the first town in Europe to be granted dark sky status. The street lighting illuminates the ground as bright as any other town, but it is engineered not to waste energy by illuminating the sky. It enables us to see the wonders of God's creation, like the northern lights and planetary alignments. The public observatory within the town is open to all who want to see the stars God has just created and those he is in the process of creating. It is a reminder of the power God has to help us in our daily lives.
And how long have you been a worship leader for?
For St. John's, about 5 years.
Holy Communion is celebrated on Wednesday mornings in the church hall, which is part of the church building. It's a more relaxing environment for the smaller congregation.
I think we're very lucky with this church room we have here, because it's used by all sorts of bodies, isn't it? Mm-hmm.
The adjacent kitchen allows food to be served. Here the two congregations are celebrating the 150th anniversary of St. John the Evangelist's church. Every Wednesday it hosts the Warm Hub, an event organised by all the Moffat churches to provide a lunchtime meeting place for the community, where the lonely can meet friends, the poor have a decent meal, and congregations from all the churches, or non-believers, can mix. Working with the other churches is a priority for the vestry.
Well, I helped organise the 150th anniversary celebrations. We decorated the church for Christmas and we organised special events.
We ourselves have meetings, quiz evenings.
I have a passion for felt making, and I've been a felt maker now for, must be 18 years. And I was really touched by having the opportunity of offering a craft workshop here. But what was really nice about it was that people came who had nothing to do with the church, but were from the community and surrounding villages.
I think that COVID was a testing time, but it was a good time as well for us coming together and connecting with people out with the church too.
It is a very welcoming church.
I love this church because I love it's friendly, it's welcoming, it's diverse, and we are going to be growing.
I think it's a beautiful, holy little church. And I think everyone looks after each other. It's like an extended family.
I like how welcoming everybody is. I'm quite a new member to the church and everybody has been absolutely lovely, and I've felt welcome straight away.
This church is like one big happy family, and if you're ill they are concerned and they check what's wrong with you.
And do you feel that Christ is present in this church?
Oh yes, definitely.
Definitely, there's no doubt whatsoever. I can feel his presence, yeah.
I do feel that. I always feel connected to him here.
The presence in the church, it's a very uplifting moment, but that's what gives me courage and helps me, is the warmth and the friendship of everybody.
What are you looking for from a new rector?
Well, I'm looking for a person who is prepared to step out the box, who's not afraid to do something new, and will meet each individual at their own pace.
Somebody who will listen, somebody who will guide us, and direct us sometimes, but to work with us, to be with us, a friend in some ways, a spiritual guidance.
I would be looking for somebody who is engaging with the congregation, who is as welcoming as everybody here.
We want someone who is going to fit into that mould where people can feel valued, could feel the community is as important as the buildings and the facilities and what's offered by the church in a physical sense, so that emotionally we are supported.
I would be looking for someone who feels that God has sent them here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yourself, what do you think?
I hope that we get a new rector who will have some energy, enthusiasm, will get to know people, be a good communicator, and I think we need to look at our church not simply being a holy huddle on a Sunday morning, but getting out into the community, and I hope that we will find a rector who's a man or a woman who will take us forward in Christ and bring us all forward, help us as a congregation to grow in faith, to deepen our faith, and to live as Christians in the community as well as in this church.
Yeah.
I think one of the things is perhaps a good sense of humour.
Somebody who has a good sense of humour.
Someone with a sense of humour.
Is perhaps a good sense of humour. Not because it's vital to the survival of anybody who takes the post on, but what we do should be enjoyable and satisfying. And we hope that we can journey together with a like-mindedness.
I think somebody who's able to bring energy to the job, commitment, or vocation I should say rather than job. I hope somebody who will work well with the rest of us. We have a good team here to work with, and somebody who will hopefully get a few more people in the church as well. But that's what every church wants, isn't it?
Yeah, one of my roles is to look after the property and the fabric of the church and the rectory. I do enjoy and get a great deal of satisfaction out of looking after this John Douglas designed building. Beautiful inside and out.
When the rectory became vacant, a group gathered to maintain the garden. The church's acoustics provided a perfect setting for the Balliol Choir to perform in October 2024.
When your heart's cold, I shall give you the sun. When your will is full, I shall give you the moon.
And less formally, we had a good sing-along in December 2024.
They told me, ba-ra-ba-bum-bum, I'm only boy kid. to see pa-ra-pa-pum-pum. Our finest gifts we bring pa-ra-pa-pum-pum. To lay before the king, pa-ra-pa-pum-pum, ra-pa-pum-pum, ra-pa-pum-pum.
I've done all sorts of jobs in All Saints, and one of my main ones was the shoebox appeal. So we've been doing the shoebox appeal for many years, and we now collect every year for this very wonderful charity run by Blythewood Care, whereby people all over the world who are less fortunate than ourselves do have a present at Christmas in the form of a shoebox. We are a very small congregation, but we are a very friendly one and a very hopeful one, and people give generously to the shoebox appeal.
It's a very welcoming church. My husband and I live midway between Lockerbie and Dumfries, so we were spoilt for choice for churches. But Lockerbie is very welcoming. It's small, and we just felt very comfortable coming to Lockerbie. We have silent prayer meetings, which are interdenominational and are about 4 miles from Lockerbie. We meet every month, and during Lent and other times we meet more often. That is a brilliant idea of Anne Shupman's, who has a large country house with a tower and has a barn which is used for retreats and meetings and lectures, and organises a silent prayer because she didn't want to alarm any nonconformists.
The railway station is in the centre of town, next to the town hall, and about 400 yards from the rectory. There are good services to Glasgow, Edinburgh, Carlisle, Manchester Airport and London. Lockerbie is on a crossroads. West to east it links Dumfries to Langham on the A7, and north to south it links Moffat to Carlisle, Gretna and the Solway coast. The A74M motorway links Lockerbie to Moffat and northbound to Glasgow. Southbound it links Carlisle, where it seamlessly joins the M6. Mention the name of Lockerbie and many people think of the terrible disaster when Pan Am Flight 103 crashed into the town in 1988. The Remembrance Garden is visited by hundreds of people every year who have come to pay their respects.
It's an effective farming community that we have, and in fact the people involved in our church, a lot of them have a connection with farming, and one way and another, and so yeah, very important to us. You're not very far from belief and so on when you work with farming. I know plenty of farmers would tell you they never even think of God or whatever, but in actual fact, when shove comes to push, you're working with natural things, and it's easy to make a connection with God, I find, working in the fields with animals and so on.
Little donkey on the dusty road.
People from Lockerbie made a point of attending the Advent coffee morning to see and touch 2 donkeys. It was well worth it just to see the joy on the children's faces, and the adults too. It was the inspiration of Lynn Troll, who has a talent for organising such events and catering for the interests of a diverse group. After seeing the donkeys, parents enjoyed the coffee morning, while their children were entertained at a colouring desk. And money was made at the bring and buy stall. Lynn's main concern is to bring the community together and enjoy themselves. The fact that she always increases church funds is another matter.
I'd just like to thank Lynn, who's done all the work, Minnie and Ida, who's helped, and Sasha, people who have helped today, and thank you for coming, and also our 4-legged friends outside. Let's face it, didn't want to come at all, but they've